Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Beau again. So today, we're going to talk about why Trump's economy can't be ignored, bargains, and a misunderstanding of power. I got a pretty interesting question that bears discussing because it calls into question whether the economic coverage is important and whether a daily recap of Trump's moves would be a better use of time. Quote, Beau, I've watched the channel for years and years, and even followed before the channel, long enough to have been in the crowd with you in D.C. This channel has long opposed all kinds of authoritarianism in every country on the planet. It seems like now would be a time to be talking about it a lot. But almost all of your videos are about the economy. Look, it's important, I get it. But I feel like we should be focusing more on how people in the U.S. and other places are falling more and more into the habit of liking authoritarianism. I know people are scared economically, but the focus has to be creeping authoritarianism. It's not the middle class that is truly at risk. I'm just going to accept this question at face value, a genuine worry about authoritarianism. When you ask people how kings, dictators, and authoritarians in general stay in power, the normal answer is force of some kind. But that isn't actually true. There's a bargain that gets made. An abstract from a seminar on authoritarianism from the Center for Global Development in the pre-Trump days of 2006 says, quote, the social contract in dictatorships is commonly explained as an authoritarian bargain between rulers and citizens by which citizens relinquish political rights for economic security. A paper over at the Stockholm School of Economics in 2007 says, quote, dictatorships do not survive by repression alone. Rather, dictatorial rule is often explained as an authoritarian bargain by which citizens relinquish political rights for economic security. Over on Brookings in 2009, an article says, quote, dictatorial regimes are therefore said to rely on an authoritarian bargain, or an implicit arrangement between ruling elites and citizens, whereby citizens relinquish political influence in exchange for public spending. People think this is a modern thought, a modern analysis of today's people. But is it though? We like to cast our own revolution as one that fought for the purest of intentions against authoritarianism. But find a founding document that doesn't mention taxes, commerce, the cost of paying for or quartering troops, and so on. No taxation without representation. The lack of representation wasn't the new part. The economic strain growing intolerable was. Trump's economy is not good. It's a facade, a mirage based on sleight of hand and unsustainable valuations. If you're worried about creeping authoritarianism from any political leader anywhere, the state of the economy is part of that conversation. In a modern Western country, it should probably be a big part. In the U.S., where money is the primary motivator, it should probably be at the forefront. The Democratic Party has a hard time getting its economic messaging out. Right now, there's a government shutdown. All polling shows that people know it's the fault of Republicans, normally by about 10 points. But those same polls with the same respondents say they trust Republicans more on the economy. I'm going to suggest that economic education is incredibly important right now. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.